Morning, 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 joy bells and whistles. God bless you this morning. How y'all doing on this finally Friday? On this fabulous Friday? On this thank God it's Friday. How many of y'all is thanking God it's Friday? Because we are so excited that we are getting ready to have 2 days for most of us to just rest. I don't even have a 9 to 5. I have a 30-minute a week job that's coming on here, giving y'all about 10 to 12 minutes of some joy 3 times a week. And let me share this with you. I'll be so excited when Friday comes. Y'all have no idea. Because I too thank God it's Friday. That's a time for me to stop and incline my ears to hear what the Lord has to say to me or what I have embarked on all week. Sometimes we got to spend a little time pondering. We got to go back on some of the things that we think we heard, some of the things that we listened to, some of the things that we didn't stop to ask for correction or direction or any of those things to get understanding. Or we talking about inclining our ears to hear and to not be afraid or ashamed to ask for clarity, to say, pardon me. Are we talking about pardon me today? Because pardon me comes along with hearing and listening. Because if you don't have clarity, then you won't get understanding. And then you'll walk away ignorant, not sure. And then you would start leaning on your own understanding based on what you think you heard. And you might have been listening with all intentions. With all intentions. But sometimes you don't always hear what's being said. So we got to incline our ears to hear. Oh, we're just talking about having joy in the morning around here. This is your girl, Jusleespeaks. I'm so excited today is Friday. This week has been a hurdle for me this week. These little 4 days between Monday and Friday sometimes can be a humdinger. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? Just them little 4 days can really take you to a whole lot of stuff because we be so in tune, sometimes listening and hearing instead of just sitting back, kicking back, and hearing and listening to everything that's inside of us. Oh, we know that we have to be in tune on life and what's going on in society, in the world. But we also have to make wise choices and judgment based on what we feel on the inside. So it's very important that we incline our ears to hear what's on the inside of us. It's important that we do that. Because some of the things that you're listening to or some of the things that you hear is things that's going on in the inside. And sometimes you got to do some self-check. We got to do some self-regulating around here. Because sometimes we allow things that we hear and things that we listen to resonate down sometime within our spirit. And now here we have come up with our own perception of what we've been listening to, or what we heard, and what we was listening to or heard is not what was being said. We're talking about inclining our ears to hear so that we'll be able to make wise choices on what it is and not be afraid to say, pardon me. I didn't quite hear what you said. I need you to help me understand. Pardon me. Did I hear you right? Because just because we heard it don't mean it was said. But in today's society, honey, we will hang everything on what we heard without getting clarity. We're talking about inclining our ears to hear. We're talking about inclining our ears to hear right now. That's what we're doing. We're talking about inclining our ears to hear at this moment in our lives so that we'll be able to make wise choices and we will not allow the negativity, which is always going to be present. It's always going to be some negative things that we're going to hear when we are not clear on what we heard. But instead of us asking for clarity, it becomes so easy for us to immediately just resonate what we think we heard. And now we got judgment now. Now because what we think we heard is more than likely not exactly what was said. But maybe what you heard is what was said. But what's important is to get clarity. So that however you feel, or however you choose to feel. A lot of times we choose to feel and be walking away feeling some kind of way, all messed up, because we have not inclined our ears to hear what was really said. Or we didn't stop and say, pardon me, excuse me, I need for you to help me understand what I just heard. Because I don't know if that's what I really heard. So sometimes, even what you heard the first time is exactly what was said. But when you ask for pardon me, they might change it. But that's giving them an opportunity to change themselves, because you heard them. But you're also giving them an opportunity to make it right before you give them some justice, huh? Because sometimes things that we say creates havoc. Well, we got to watch what we say. We got to incline our ears to hear positive, joyous things, nice things, pleasant things. And then once we hear things that might not be so pleasant to our ears, then we got to then know how to resonate it in our hearts. We're talking about joy in the morning around here. We're talking about how to have joy. And a lot of things that you listen to, a lot of things you hear will take you away. You got to establish who you are so that you know that the things that you hear and the things that are being said are the things that you're listening to, and not necessarily they're talking to you because you just happen to be overhearing things you're listening to. Then we walk away with it in our spirit. First of all, they're not talking to you. And so what? So what somebody's saying something that it may not be so nice about you? If it's true, do something about it. If it's not, don't worry about it. Because the things that we hear and the things we listen to will take us outside of our joy. We're talking about having joy around here. In the midst of all that we're dealing with. In the midst of all that you may be dealing with on a personal level. Are we dealing with it collectively on the world system? We have to make a choice to individually incline our ears to hear positivity, incline our ears to hear what our heart is saying, because that's what God is speaking, or whosoever your higher power, hopefully he's speaking to your heart, because out of the heart of man determines what it is and how you happen to maneuver in your lane in this life. It's all based on what you hear. So many of us are messed up in our lives based on the things that we've heard and the things that we've listened to most of our lives. They blame everything on our children, on the music that they listen to and the things that they hear. We got to incline our ears to hear, and we got to pardon the things that we don't have clarification about. Because it'll help you. It'll help you. It'll help you, and it'll help somebody else, especially if they say the wrong thing. Hello, somebody. I love y'all. Y'all know I do. This is your girl, Juslee, and I'm just here talking a little bit about inclining our ears to hear the things that we need to hear. You know, we've been talking about that all week. We've been on, are you listening and are you hearing? We got to incline our ears to know which one we're doing. Are we listening right now, or do we need to just hear something? Sometimes some people just need to hear things. How many people have to have a fan or something, music or the TV going? That means you need to just be hearing something. And every once in a while, in the midst of it, if there's TV going, you might hear something in your subconscious while you're sleeping, because you hearing noise, but a little bit of it is listening also. So sometimes we have to hear and listen. It has to work the same. We cannot. But then there's sometimes you just have to hear noise. Doesn't have to make any sense. It just has to be noise. So are you listening? Are you hearing? You got to remember and recognize the environment and the atmospheres that you're in. Because if you're just somewhere just wanting to hear something, then that's different. But when you're going somewhere because you're listening to hear something that's going to help you in your quality of life, then you got to be mindful. Then that's when you need to incline your ear and your heart to listen to the things, the positive things, the positive things, the positive things. We're talking about communication, listening and hearing is all relates to communication. And that is the reason why we have so much going on in the world, because people don't know how to communicate. People misread, misjudge. People assume. based on what they hear, based on what they listen to, and they create a judgment based on not even knowing facts. Why? Because they won't incline their ears to hear and then move towards if they need clarity. It's okay to ask somebody, pardon me, I didn't hear you. And then it's okay if you just choose to want to hear things to the grapevine and get clarity. Oh, you might be starting a mess, but still, if that's what it does to you, to want to bring clarity to something that you didn't actually hear. And we got to remember, we can't let everything that passed by with information get in our spirits. We got to incline our ear to hear positive things. We got to incline this is soil. We soul, baby. We just can't let anything resonate and drop in our spirits because it will grow. It will grow. Yes, it will. We're talking about listening and hearing. And if you heard them right, but it's okay to incline your ears to hear. And it's okay to ask somebody to pardon them when you're not sure of what you heard. We need to get clarity around here. We need to spend some time this weekend inclining our ears to hear. And if we ain't clear of what we heard, it's okay to ask somebody to make clarity of what you didn't quite understand. We need to quit assuming, because assuming, we already know what it is. And an assumption, we all got it. But we just don't want to spend this weekend, joy bells and whistles, assuming. We want to incline our ears and hearts to hear, and we want to make sure that we listen to what we're hearing. Listen for anything that's going to bring you life. God bless you today. I hope something that you have been said, something that I have inspired you to do, something that'll move you to incline your ears to hear life. Nothing negative, life. This your girl, Juslee. Looking forward to meeting you on this marvelous Monday. I hope you guys have a blessed, prosperous, fabulous weekend. Looking forward to seeing you on Monday morning. Love you.